Copper covered postcards. Who would have thought that they would put copper around postcards? Now today's special topic is on copper covered postcards. We're going to be going over some what solds. I have a poll, as you can see down in the bottom here, and some viewer comments. Now one of the viewer comments surprised me. Did you know there was a way to do like eBay standard envelope on Etsy with tracking for a letter? Stick around for that comment. A viewer helped me out greatly. So let's get started here. I sold 17 cards on eBay for $78. 3 cards on Etsy for $14. A total of 20 cards for $92 is what we're going to be going over today. But let me go ahead and get started with the Etsy ones and get those out of the way. The first one is City and Harbor, Newport, Rhode Island. Just a divided back card. It does have that flea market thing up there that I don't take off, but that's that card sold for $465 on Etsy. I'm a little higher on Etsy. And then the next card was Catskill Mountains. This is from that private collection, and this one actually sold a little higher. I think it sold for like $555. Catskill and Catskill Mountains from East Bank of Hudson River. On there, undivided back, posted. It was posted in 1910. So that's another one that sold. I think it came from album 8 if I remember right. And then the last one is St. Paul's Episcopal Church in Virginia City, Nevada. Vertical card, up and down, just a chrome card. Unposted, unused. It's kind of like a series. It's got a thing up there. But this sold for $465 on Etsy. And remember with Etsy, it's only about 15% of my sales. So if I sell, 100 cards, it's only 15 cards out of that 100. HIP is even slower, 5%. So out of that 100, 5 cards on there. So after I talk about that new way of doing shipping on Etsy, doesn't mean you want to jump over there. It's a long haul, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as I get going. But let me grab a few more of these what solds to keep the video moving. This one, this lady bought, or viewer bought 2 cards. Kind of stuck here, my notes. The first one, kind of a neat card, but it was just a chrome card. It wasn't nothing special. It's sold for $455. Just a passenger private car of a railroad on there. So it didn't really go for that much on that one. And then they bought another card, and a lot of people say like Niagara Falls, Washington DC, all these other ones don't sell, and they put them into quarter boxes or don't put them in there at all. Mount Rushmore, a tourist card, $455. Postmark 1969 on there, sold it for $455. A lot of people would not list that card. It's just very touristy, and a lot of them out there. The next one that sold on eBay is a vertical card, Swift Creek Farms Motor Court. Motel, sign, different views, $455. Unposted, just a chrome card. Motels sell. Next one is a view card. Redwood Environment. It's just ferns in a tree. A view card. $455. Chrome card, unused. Going to be mailed out with eBay standard envelope for 53 cents. This one, I think this is a Joshua tree. That's the tree I keep forgetting to say, is if you ever get Joshua trees, put them up for $455, $555. They'll sell. I sell, whenever I put one of these trees or desert flora up, it will sell over there. It might take a little bit, but they will go. And that sold for $455. And then here's another touristy card. Just like the Mount Rushmore. This is Washington, D.C. This is the Capitol through the cherry blossoms. Just a linen card. A lot of people don't put these cards up. I put them up. I'll list them. So this was posted 1949. Linen card. $455. And I'll do 2 more here, and then I'll get into copper-covered postcards. Yes, they were covered with copper. I think a lot of people did it in school where they took a real thin piece of copper and drew something on it or etched an image. We did it in our art class, and that's kind of what it looks like, and I'll show you here in a second. But this one is Sacred Heart Hospital, Cumberland, Maryland. Hospital cell, get that in the title. Keywords, hospital. Sacred Heart Hospital, Maryland, $4.55. That one's sold. And the last one before the copper covered postcards, gentleman bought, and you know I got boats, ships, Navy ships. This gentleman bought 4 of the USS Harold E. Holt FF1074 on there. He bought 4 of these cards for $20, around $20, $18 or $20. So these will all get a separate sleeve and put into one envelope for 53 cents and mailed out to that gentleman for those. Very easy to do. I probably have another 300 of these cards left on there. Copper covered postcards. I'm not going to put the definition up here. There wasn't a lot of information on these cards. I dug and dug and dug, and there's not a lot listed that I could really use. So I kind of improv paraphrased a lot of the information that I got here. What is a copper covered postcard, you're saying? A postcard covered / clad. They use the word clad, you know, to clad the postcard in copper. I use the word covered. So a postcard covered, clad with a thin layer of image etched copper. So I'll show you a few pictures here of about 3 cards, the front and the back, because the back really shows the copper. Now you're probably thinking, how do they write on the copper if they want to write a message? Well, take a look, and I have one to show you here. So basically a cardstock postcard wrapped and still showing the cardstock writing on the back. So the copper is wrapped around the front with the image, and then on the sides just enough to keep the cardstock in there, and then you can still write on the cardstock as you see in these pictures. A lot of the stuff I found said you'll find these cards with subjects from copper country of Upper Michigan on there, so you might find that theme out there. There's also some solid like copper metal cards out there. They're novelty. I don't think you could put a stamp and mail those, I'm not for sure, but that's you want to kind of sort your search when you're looking for these cards for that. But that's basically what copper, the definitions, all the information I really found about these. Now let me show you one and only card that I have in my novelty collection, if we call it a collection. This is Salt Lake City. As you can see, it's a real thin copper. It's etched with, I think it's got the mountains in the back, clouds, and some buildings and stuff in there. But that's a copper clad. Now the important part is this. This is where they can still write stamp box, address, message, divided back. And you can see on the edge there where they folded the copper over just a little bit to hold the cardstock. And now I don't know what's on the other side of this cardstock. I would probably think it's plain. I didn't take it apart. But if I ever do find one on there. But this is done by Copper Card with a K. It says engraved on copper. So it's engraved this on here. So it's Copper Card is the manufacturer. But that's the only one I got. They are real, you know, sturdy cards. I can kind of feel the cardstock. It's kind of just not really floating inside there, but it's a postcard stock. It's made not cheap paper. It's regular postcard stock. But that's the copper postcard on there. So if you see those, now they don't sell for a lot, but let's check the prices and see if you should pick these up if you see them. And as I went through this, I didn't find a lot, so I just kind of did like, I didn't do the high and low listed. I just kind of picked out because they kind of ran into each other because there wasn't a lot sold out there. But as you can see here, the first one sold for $3 and $1 shipping. There was only 4 bids on it. It's the Cowboy. Utah, UT, Copper, Western States, Cowboy, Horse, Postcard, Old Vintage Card, View, Postal. That's a lot of stuff in a title. A lot of people will put the state and the abbreviation. Most SEOs will pick up both. Some people will stand and say, hey, it works better. I don't do that. I type the state out on there. A lot of people over in foreign countries might not know what UT is, but they know what Utah is. NV, they might not know what that is, but they know Nevada. So that's my thinking. But you can do whatever you want. But this title really doesn't flow for me. It's more of a key search. Vintage, old, card, view, postal. Do people really search on those terms? Put them in Google Trends, or just go out there and type in and see what pops up. The next one was a vintage Missouri embossed copper postcard by Card. Now, if you watch my embossed video, is this an embossed card? Now, to the definition, it kind of says that because it's a raised surface on one side and indented on another. Is that a crossover in postcards? But to me, this is more etched, but it's also embossed. So I wouldn't say a title's wrong. It's just how you look at it. But put it in the comments if you think it's embossed or edged. I call them edged. It's just because it's copper. But I think there would be two dyes to press these together. And they also put the name of the manufacturer, Card, in there, which is good. Maybe someone's searching for collects just Card. But the word vintage, I don't use those. Rare, vintage, nice, stuff like that. It's just me, But $9 and $1.50 shipping, and it was best offer accepted. The next one is Postcard Indian Chief Vintage Copper Card, American Unposted 768. So that's probably their inventory number 768 and stuff like that, unposted. That's in the item specifics, but a lot of people put it in the title too. That sold for best offer accepted from $407 and $5 shipping. So they shipped that card first class. So someone paid like $8 for that card. The other one was probably $8 and the other one was $4. So $5 to $8 is what these are running for, I would say, $5 to $9. So if you see them in an antique booth for $1.50, would you pick them up? I don't know if they're big sellers, but they have a variety. If I see them for 50 cents or $1, I'd probably pick them up. Price them up for $5.55, $6.55, just for the novelty. You got to find the right person, right price, right day, right year. Sun's up, birds flying, leaves on the trees days, type things. But that's what's sold out there that I found on eBay. Now, what are people listing these things for? As we just saw, what the sold comps are coming out is $5 to $9. And I always do that first, then I go over to listed, just to see what my competition might be doing. Especially with these cards, since there's not a lot of them. The first one is vintage dark tone copper covered postcard of a cowboy on a horse. And they put the size of a postcard. That would probably go in the description or the condition. I wouldn't put that in the title. On there, in vintage, dark tone. They can see it from the pictures. $29.99 or best offer, free shipping. That's like $20 higher. Next one is a 1998 copper covered postcard jackalope, and they put the size again in parentheses. Take those parentheses out. And it's a jackalope, which is good to have that in the title, and copper covered postcards good. 1998 parentheses I would take out. That's in the item specifics as well. $8 or best offer, $4 shipping. So they're right in the ballpark there a little bit. By the time they take an offer, $6, $4 shipping, $9, $10. When jackalope, that will probably sell since it's a jackalope, and those are kind of sought after, kind of unique. Then the next one is copper clad postcard, Long Grove, Illinois/Illinois. That's another two-state thing, abbreviation stuff. Covered bridge. $6.99, no bids, $1.50 shipping. So that just goes to tell you right there that, sometimes auctions aren't the best, especially for $6.99. They're just, that's a bland card. That picture is a little, I think these would be a little hard to take pictures of. You don't want to put these through the scanner for sure. You'd have to do a camera and make sure you don't get the reflection on them and stuff like that on there. Maybe a flatbed scanner would be okay because it's not moving and scratch. Just be careful not to scratch the lens on there. But taking a picture of those, just like taking a picture of a mirror. But that's what's listed. The $29.99, unless it's very special, I'm missing something, that's going to sit. The $8 and $6 ones might sell. I would take best offer off of anything that's lower. I just don't do best offer on lower, just price of cards. But that's copper covered postcards. If you see them for a good price, and you know they're worth $5 to $9, take a chance. Fill your store up with different ones. Copper postcards. Who knew? Okay, so the next card that's sold on eBay is Cohasset Harbor, Cohasset, Massachusetts. There's Captain John Smith discovered this Syrian harbor in 1614. Just some old docks and some boats. Chrome card. Sold for $4.55. Just a view card of a harbor on there. And $4.55. This card I just posted yesterday, and I remember it because I screwed the picture up. I had to go back and rescan it because I doubled the picture up. I always have my buyer's account signed into my postcard store on this laptop I have over on a shelf to the left of me here. So as I list postcards, and it's got a touchscreen, so I can just refresh the screen, and as the cards list and they get published out on eBay, I can actually see if I screwed up the picture, if I need to turn them, or sometimes they don't go across correctly. Well, I noticed I also look for doubles. If I have 2 listings, 3 listings on a line, and they look like the same postcard. So I had 2 of a lighthouse, and I said, that's not right. And one said church, one said lighthouse. So this one, I had the lighthouse picture of the postcard. I double-clicked and made that error. But I remember this one, and this is the First Parish Church in Cohasset, Massachusetts. Just a Chrome card. But to look through 30,000 cards and just see if anything's messed up, I'd rather do it as I list. I can just look over real quick. And when I'm done listing my 50 cards for the day or whatever, I can scroll through real quick to make sure I don't have any doubles or any pictures that need to be rotated or whatever. The next one I sold out of these cards, the USS Hampton submarine coming up through the ice in the Arctic. It's just one of those prints. This is the club printed these cards, and it's just got the name of the ship on there. That'll go in a continental sleeve, 53 cents eBay standard envelope. Next one is one of those Navy ship photos. This is the Lexington CV-16, and this was dated April 15th, 1943. They all have a little curve because they're photos. This sold for $8.55, and that'll sell with a stamp and a label. And the last one, this was the only Cuba card that they've allowed me to list. And this is probably because it's Guantanamo Bay. This is the second one I've sold in the last few videos, I think. But it has the troops at Guantanamo Bay. And this was another one of those prints printed by the club. And I probably have about 40 of these left or so on there. But it doesn't have any information on the back. They used a real light cardstock, and it just drives me crazy. But that's all the cards that sold. 20 cards, and how much did I have on there? $92 worth of postcards. Took me no time long at all to pull those, and it won't take me long to pack them up and get them in the mailbox. Polls. In the community tab on every YouTube channel that has 500 subscribers or more, they get a community tab where they can put out little polls. And you'll see those on YouTube from different subscribers you have. And it's a neat way to interact with your audience and viewers and subscribers. I send one out every Saturday about 9 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Just questions about postcards. I just got one submitted by a person on there. And he wrote, Calamity Reclamation wrote, 3 possible survey question. I'm curious about postcard sellers' average sell-through rate. How many listings do they have up? How many do they sell on average per day? Do folks see a difference on sell-through rate when they spend more time on item specifics, researching keywords, etc.? I wrote back to Calamity and I said, I can work with this. But I see about 3 surveys questions. I got to break it up into questions. It'd be too much for one. So you're going to be seeing that coming out once I get them scheduled out there and add to it. But if you got any questions that you'd like me to put up, do exactly what Calamity Reclamation did, send me there and I'll see what I can do with it. But the one we have for today is, do you sell international foreign postcards. So those are non-USA postcards. And here's the stats. 79% said yes, 19% said no, and 2% had some comments. I don't do many of them. The only reason is I find it when I did my tracking and stuff, my spreadsheet, my crazy spreadsheet I had that I tracked for a long time, they were not a top seller, and I could spend more time on the chromes and white borders and divided backs and get a better return rate. But if I do get some interesting ones, I will. But the problem is I don't know the language. The only language I know is English, and so I have to put them in Google Translate, and I'm just afraid that I'm going to mess them up. Sometimes I can't read what the letter is, stuff like that. Now, Mexico cards do well. Anything in Caribbean, I would call that international on there. But I tend to shy away from them just for that. But a lot of people here, 79% said they sell them. So maybe I'm not in the norm. I'm not normal. So if you're selling foreign postcards, check out the comments underneath here. And if you got any comments how you do it, I'm sure people would love to hear it. But here are 3 comments I pulled out. I got a bunch of comments on this. Flippin' Ohio says, sure do. My first $125 sale went to Hong Kong. No issues. I also sell to Canada, Switzerland, and Brazil. I do sell a lot of cards to Switzerland. Canada especially. If you're not international to Canada, you need to take a look at that. Canada is North America, and I do a lot of sales, even in the toys, to Canada. Brazil, that's a different story. Sometimes they don't allow them, just like Italy. I think I got Brazil blocked because I've had problems there. But $125 sale to Hong Kong. Yeah, that's what you want. The next one was Julie. This was interesting. I was born in Europe, and multilingual international postcards are my forte. I wish I had that skill. I think I'd probably list a lot more. But just think, if you knew a couple languages and you got those postcards and you can put them up there and get them translated correctly without any extra effort, it would be great. So thanks, Julie, for your comment, and that's a niche for you. Then B. Lee said, I sell them, and most of them are bought from U.S. buyers. It just takes more time translating it, researching, but he doesn't mind. He says to translate them. I don't mind either if they're interesting, but I'm just getting a habit of flying through the Chrome cards and stuff. And I think that's just a time thing for me on there. But it is interesting. Now, if you get pre-war, pre-World War I, pre-World War II, stuff like that in there, I always look at those. And kids by fountains, I kind of look for that. Germany cards with fountains, kids. I've done well when I see those types of cards on there. But those are the polls. They're anonymous. I don't know who clicks what unless you put a comment. Then I'll say the user ID. So check them out every Saturday morning. But make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get these to come to you. And I leave them out there, and they just keep updating. I pulled this one, and it has 63 votes. Next time you look at it, it might have 70 votes. So, and comment on them so people can learn. And you're going to learn about the comments here in a minute on what I learned. So viewer comments, I pull them from YouTube, I pull them from emails or whatever I get, and I just randomly do it. Nothing special, but interesting ones. Jim Fuller had one here. Said another nice video, but you got a lot of duplicates in the stack. So thanks, Jim, for the comment on the nice video. He's talking about that private collection videos I'm putting, those 8 videos I'm doing, if you're following it on Saturdays, for that private collection from New York that I purchased. Yeah, whenever you buy a collection, sometimes you will get duplicates and stuff on there. A lot of them were posted, unposted, different conditions, so I did list them, and some of them I put on Etsy. That's what I'll do. That's why I have Etsy also. If I got one Chrome card of a church, I'll put one on Etsy, one on eBay, and see if they move. He says, Mark, I have a card that says copyrighted, not for sale, and I see them on the various websites for sale. Is it legal to sell? Now, my reply to Jim was, I sell them. They're older cards. They're the original card. I'm not copying and printing the same picture or the card, whatever. And I just put them up there. I've never had an issue with that. Even if it says owned by the library or whatever. I just put them in there. If anybody says anything, I'll take them down. But to me, copyright is, this was an original purchased by someone before. I'm not copying, changing the picture or whatever. But I've never had an issue with that. So if you see that, do what you want to do. But I've never had a problem with it. If somebody's got anything different about that, put it in the comments. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I don't even look at that. So it doesn't bother me. The next question came from Karen Henderson. Mark, you are an inspiration to stay the course. Okay. Thank you, Karen. Keep learning and listing. So to stay the course, to keep learning and listing. Every card I sell makes me happy. I hope you're very, very happy and you're selling a lot of cards. I'm getting ready to rewatch your white border video. Thank you. She bought 6 long boxes of Chrome Continental White Border Adult Humor cards. So the Chrome and the White Border I would focus on. The Continental and Adult Humor, you might want to watch those videos there. Make sure you price them right and stuff like that. But I would go after the White Border, Chrome, Continental, and then Adult Humor in that order. But congratulations on the buy. I also finally made the investment in an Epson duplex scanner she has needed. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Yes, if you don't have a scanner and you're serious about postcards, you need to save up and get a scanner. They will save so much time. And a thermal printer for eBay standard envelope. Those two things will allow you time to list more postcards or whatever. You're not sitting at your desk 4 hours, you're only sitting there for 2.5 because you're printing out labels 100 times faster and you're photographing, getting photos of postcards 10,000 times faster. That's how you want to think of it. But if you're just started and you're not for sure if you're going to stay with it or if you're part-time, sometimes people don't do that. But you can find them cheaper out there. Startup scanners on eBay, find them at garage sales. I have 2 scanners. I have the Epson and then I have the Fujitsu. And I'll be doing a video about the 2. And the only reason I have 2 is the Fujitsu, which I like a lot, the software. It doesn't do like a background border around the card. And when I have a white, like this envelope here, it's all white on the edges, it kind of blends in and they can't really see the edge on there, and it was slowing me down because I had to put it back and scan and stuff. And so I purchased the Epson. I didn't buy the wireless one. I just plug it right into a little PC I got over there, my scanner PC. But the Fujitsu I like. The Epson, if I had to buy a brand new one, I would probably buy the Epson. If they're a little cheaper, I think the Fujitsu is more top of the line, more stiffer, it's got an LCD screen, so it's got a little bit more whistle and bells, but underneath they both do the same thing. So, but check them out. Scanners are there. Will save you, they'll pay for themselves in time. And you get good resolutions, your pictures will look a lot cleaner and stuff like that. So, but thanks again, Karen, for the good comments, kind comments, and keep listening so you can keep being happy. Now this next question blew my mind. I've had an Etsy store forever, and I think I set up this shipping years ago, and I've never really changed it. But I could, when eBay standard envelope came out a year ago, I just put in the size 751, 6.5 by 4.5, put 751, and it worked fine. But I never knew that Etsy had a letter option the same as eBay standard envelope. Woman's Work Production CO wrote this after, I think she heard me in a comment saying I ship with a label and a stamp on Etsy. I say it all the time up to this video. She wrote and says Etsy has the 53-cent stamp under the letter option. I go, what? This stopped me in my tracks. Make sure you fill in the form as 1 ounce, 6 inches, 3.5 envelope, or whatever size you use that works with a regular 55 58-cent stamp with 0.2025 as the height. That's what I was doing wrong. I think if I don't even remember seeing this on there. So the first time I read this real quick and I ran to my Etsy thing and I had a card in there to sell and I put it in there. I put 751. I didn't read her comment where it said put 25. And I wrote back, I said, this isn't working. What am I doing wrong? And she says put 0.025. As soon as I put 7 inches for the length, 5 inches for the width, 1 ounce for the weight, and 0.25 for the height, I got the letter option as you see here. 53 cents. That's eBay standard envelope on Etsy. Guess what? It has tracking just like eBay standard envelope right here. Where has this been? Where have you been, woman's work production company, all my life? This is the best thing. This is probably one of the biggest reasons to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, is information from people that know something that you don't know. I never even thought Etsy had this option, because Pirate Ship and the ship station or whatever, I've looked at it there and they don't have an option for letter, unless I'm missing it over there too, where I could do this. But Etsy had this all this time and I've been doing a label and a stamp. Shame on me. But that just goes to show you what having a community on this channel talking about postcards, someone knows something that you don't know. This is, I would probably say, for 2022, this is probably going to be one of the biggest new things that I've learned this year. And does it really save me anything? I don't get a lot of returns on Etsy, so I wasn't really worried that much about tracking, but it will help with being a star seller on Etsy. It will help with the cost. I'm saving a nickel every time, probably a little bit more because I'm using a label, so probably 6 cents, 5-6 cents. But it also saves me time. I don't need to cut and paste the address over to the Dymo, print it out. I can just do it like I do eBay standard envelope, print, peel, and stick. So I'm using the same label, same everything. That's where it's going to save me. Plus the tracking is going to help the customer. It gives more for the customer. But thank you again, Women's Work Production CO, as you see here. If you, doesn't mean you want to run over and start selling on Etsy, because remember, it's only 15% of my sales. eBay is 80% and HIP is 5%. It takes a while to grow on Etsy, and I'm still not there. I have about 4,000 listings on Etsy, and I've been holding that for a year and a half or so because the fees. If I go over that and they don't sell every month, it's 20 cents per listing. There's no store fee. And so you list it, it's good for 4 months. So if you list 10 cards, that's $2. And $2 for 10 cards a day. If they don't sell 4 months on the road, it's $2, $2, $2, $2, and it just adds up. So 4,000 cards. If I don't sell any cards, on there, if I have 4,000 listings and I don't sell any cards, they will charge me $800 in listing fees for the year. With eBay and a premium store, that's about with a store thing. That's why I've held at 4,000. So just by having Etsy letter over there doesn't mean you should run over and do that. You need something to carry Etsy as it builds. But you get a little bit more money over there, but it's nothing like eBay. It's only 15%. When the payout from Etsy comes in, it just goes like, they use the same payment thing that eBay uses. They drop it into my checking account. That's fun money for me. That's go out and buy some postcards, buy stuff like that. It doesn't really make a difference. I really focus on eBay, but I do list on Etsy, and I do keep it around 4,000 cards on there. I don't even know how many sellers are out there on Etsy on that. But thanks again. eBay standard envelope on Etsy. So Etsy standard envelope is what we can call it. We did the copper covered postcards on there, and they made them over the years and a whole bunch of different things. But check out this leather postcards I'm still getting a lot of questions from people about leather posts. Hey, I got a bunch of leather postcards. Are they worth anything? This video will tell you that. Everything you need to know about leather postcards and more probably is in that video here. So check that out. Good luck, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.